Hey, I wait. Yes, what we
To the channel. I don't know why everybody has trouble getting on through StreamYard. But yes, we will welcome her there. What? Okay. Am I glitching to you guys? Everybody said, my daughter says I am glitching out. Okay, let me. Can you hear me now? How's my sound? Is my volume good now? Good. StreamYard, don't kick my butt tonight. But again, we are welcoming Terri Ann Russell, who wrote the book From Death to Life, The Incredible True Story of Anthony Joseph. Um, Let me tell you, I am getting better. I had another COVID test. I am still COVID positive. So if my voice sounds strained, it is. COVID, you need to vamoose, buddy. So thank you, Shoeless One, Steve. So it is still wanting to linger in my body. It needs to go the hell on. Needs to go the hell on. I hope I look better than I did. Anyway, I'm glad everybody's here to welcome our guest. Um, I want to tell you, Terri, just click on the link that I dropped and it will let you on. See the link I'm dropping now that says StreamYard? And I'll be able to pop you up. Terri is part of a group too that we met. We're also part of that group that you don't want to be part of if you've lost a child. That does tend to open you up spiritually. She's written a book. She has gone in a lot of directions. She's also a healer. Hey, Shannon Van. Thank you. Hey, hiya, ho. One of my friends and another creator. Um, Terri, just click on the link if you see it. But like I said before, it's just a unusually weird thing that when we're in this group, you got an error? What the heck? Just try it again. Are you on a laptop, Terri? Um, when you lose a child, it just tends to, I don't know if that's the way the universe goes. Hey, Jarian, to open up another journey for us and other gifts and stuff. I guess to help us along the way, help us stay sane. I'm not hearing out of my earphones, oddly enough. Maybe because nobody's talking but me. Yes, laptop. I don't know what to tell you other than try again. I don't know why you're getting an error. I mean, you can also try on your phone, although I like laptop better, but you can try on your phone. I do not know why you would be getting an error. Does anyone else know? Do you have anybody in your house that's savvy or anyone that knows why she might be getting an error? Um, Anybody willing to try to see if you can get on this link to see if it's working for you? To pop up for a minute to see if it's working for you and it's not just her. Because I don't know why it's not working for her. Odd. Because this is all planned for her to come and talk about her book, etc. So I don't know why it's not working for her. Really want her up here to talk about it. It's the best of plans, right? The best of plans. How does that go when you're trying to work out all of the kinks? Hey, Jerian. Hey, Willow. Oh, it's working. Yes.
Wait a minute. I'm on my phone.
But it's working.
Okay. It must be my laptop then. I don't know why. I do shows all the time.
And you look beautiful, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, thank you for coming, by the way.
Oh, I'm excited to meet you and be here. I know you're not feeling well, so.
I'm feeling better, but I could tell that things weren't quite 100%, you know what I mean? When you feel things lingering on. And my husband, he works for a lab. He's an IT guy. And he goes, let's do another test to see if you're coming up negative. And he called me from the lab and he said, well, bad news. And I just had that feeling it was going to come up positive again.
Yeah.
But you look gorgeous.
Oh, thank you.
But I'm so happy to have you here.
I'm so happy to be here. I really feel whenever I can talk about my son, it's an honor.
Yeah, and you know, by the way, I have said this to them before. A lot of people, oh, by the way, you might want to turn your YouTube off so you don't get flack.
Yeah, I turned my laptop off.
Okay, so I didn't know if you had your YouTube off too while we talk.
I don't know. I'm not technologically savvy.
So if your YouTube is playing on your phone, you might want to cut the volume off of it.
All right, let me see if it's playing. I came in through the YouTube and I hit that link.
And that's fine, but you don't want it playing. But you can't hear me because you don't have earphones on.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay, I can hear you, and I just swiped it away. So
okay, that's cool.
We're in here.
Okay, cool. We just don't want two sounds playing at once.
Okay.
I try to tell people when you've lost a child, people are often afraid to talk about your child to you, or to say their name, or to ask you questions or whatever. And I'm like, please, ask me questions. Say their name. Don't act like they never existed. Because that's painful. Like when we have holidays, our families around. I hate it when they never mention his name again.
Yeah.
Like, okay, they passed away. They don't exist anymore.
Yeah, I've had people say to me, I don't want to make you upset. And I'm like, you don't think I'm already upset, like, about it? I mean, obviously I'm upset. I think when people say his name or they remember him, it brings a happiness to your heart, don't you think?
Yeah, yes. I mean, Lordy, when they came to my house for Thanksgiving, don't they see I still have a picture up that I burn a candle every night when we have family dinner. We still have my daughter's here. When we have dinner at night, we still sit at the dinner table and have dinner. And we light a candle in front of my son's picture. So it's still a family connection.
Yes.
It's still he's still part of it in some way
Mm-hmm.
because we always had dinner there. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And
Yeah.
people might not get that, but we get it.
Yeah. I think if you haven't been through it, it's really hard to put yourself, even as an empath. I mean, I've had plenty of people around me that are really highly sensitive empaths, and they can feel my pain. But they don't know my pain, until you walked in these shoes. And I don't wish this journey on anyone. This has by far been the hardest thing that I've ever had to do in my life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I wouldn't want anyone to know the pain. But that being said, um, I want people to understand that it's okay. It's okay to ask how he was, who he was, um, to not make him a ghost, so to speak.
Yes, I totally get it. I totally, totally get it. Um, my son passed 2.5 years ago very suddenly. And so we've had so many people reach out to us, but anytime anybody shares a story or says his name, it just helps us all, I think, to remember and to feel that presence. He's not gone, he's not dead. I've had this argument with him millions of times over, because in the beginning I would say, I can't believe you're dead, and he'd say, I'm not dead.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. And I've tried to explain to them, and I won't reiterate it because I said it a week ago, um, that the body, the body expires, but it carries the soul around, the energy of the soul. So we continue to live. Love does not die, and we just shift out of the body that can no longer function.
Yes.
So
Energy's energy. You cannot kill energy.
no, I mean it's not created or destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
And just like Jesus, they say Jesus died on the cross, but 3 days later, you know what I mean. But let's go on to your experience with your son and your book, etc. And I tried to explain to them, we all end up in this group, but my experience with helping parents heal online and Voice of Our Angels and stuff, more than not, um, I had gifts when I was a child, and I had a near death experience at 12, and then we lost children, and gifts just kept expanding, and the spiritual journey just sort of opened up more. And I found that more and more of the parents that have lost children are like you and I, and more gifts open, and the path expanded.
Yeah.
Haven't you seen more of that?
Oh, absolutely. With myself and others. Like you said, I've met so many bereaved women, and
Even
yeah,
dads.
even dads. And before, I don't think that they would have given it a second thought. But when you have a child, you've lost a child now, you're looking for that connection to that child. And, it's like, it's so hard to put into words to even fathom that one minute they're here and one minute they're not. And so for me, my journey was really difficult because in the beginning I was in denial and I didn't believe that he was dead. But as a medium, I can hear, see, feel him. And he's yelling at me within hours, I'm okay, mom, I'm okay. And I'm like, no, I can't do this. Like, you cannot be talking to me, because if you're talking to me, you're dead. And so my psyche, it did a number on my psyche. I didn't want to hear from him. You have to understand that in the beginning, I didn't want to, because I was in such deep shock and pain at that point. As time went on, obviously, I, you know, he helped me tremendously to heal. Writing the book was very cathartic for me. Just, he showed me in the 2.5 years that he showed me so much. He was such an advanced soul, and I think all of our children are our teachers, right? Even
Yeah,
our children here on earth, I believe they're here to teach us. Um, so him as a child, or he's a grown man, obviously, in spirit, but he's still my child. I've had people say to me, well, he wasn't a child. Well, he was my child, and even if he was 60 and I was 80, he would still be my child. You know what I
exactly.
mean?
Yeah.
Hmm.
They never stop being your child, period. I mean,
No.
I have to even tell my daughter, she just turned 20. And I said, I don't care if you're 50 years old. I don't stop being your mom,
Hmm.
period. So I continue to worry about you, and you still live in my house. As long as you live in my house, you know, I will worry about where you are and when you come home and all of that stuff.
Right.
So, I lost Noah 4 years ago. My son he couldn't walk, and he only aged a third of the rate we do.
Mm.
So I was physically touching him and caring for him on the daily. So it was different, but the
Yeah.
same.
Hmm.
And he couldn't speak. I'd get a random word here and there, but the communication. But he was cognitively aware, vastly.
Mm.
We communicated from the inside out, always, always.
Hmm.
And I felt deeply he was an earthbound angel. Period. Um, it went deep and wide.
Yeah.
I understand you. You and I are very much alike.
I think
So
we have a lot of similarities.
very much so.
Hmm.
I think
And I
if
find that, don't you find that with people you meet, they have a lot of similarities to you and you to them. And I think, one of the messages in Anthony's book was that we're all connected.
yeah,
We've been taught that we're not connected at all. We are all connected.
yeah, I'd like to know more about Anthony.
Oh, um, Anthony was an amazing soul from the time he was born. He was just different. I have 4 children and a stepdaughter. And Anthony, from the time he was born, he hit the ground running. He came in 2 weeks early, and that's how he left too. He left quick, and when he got to the spirit world, he hit the ground running. He was very articulate. He would shake your hand. Nice to meet you. I'm Anthony, 2 years old. And he'd say things to me like, Mommy, do you know I picked you to be my mommy? At 3 years old, 2 and 3 years old. And I was like, I was not spiritually open then. I would laugh and be like, what are you talking about? And he'd say, yeah, there was all these mommies and I picked you to be my mommy, and I thought, wow. And so as he got older, I think it scared him a lot. He had a lot of abilities. He wanted to tune them out. They were too much for him. And he was so empathic, and he took so much on for so many people. He was a helper. He'd help you. He'd give you the shirt off his back. In fact, one of the chapters in my book is I just want to have a voice to help others heal. And I found that in his journal after he passed. He always wanted to write a book. He always wanted to be that person to help others. But in this world, it was just too much for him. The hearing, the seeing. The things he wrote, the things I found after he passed were amazing to me. They were clearly psychic visions and premonitions that he was having, these experiences. But it
Wow.
was too much for him to understand at that point.
Could you give me maybe an example of one, possibly?
The knowing and hearing, yeah. He had a premonition dream. And I remember talking with him about it at the time. I think he was 16, but he had a premonition dream where he died, and there were all these doorways for him, and he could choose a doorway, and each doorway held a life. And so as he's explaining this to me, I'm sort of getting my own psychic hits about this, and I'm not liking it, right? And I'm trying to decipher what he's telling me. And so he was like, I just feel like this dream is trying to tell me something, and I really don't know that I'm ready to hear it, and all these things. So we talked about it for a long time, and I have to say, he was so vivid. Like, he could really explain things so well. He had a great vocabulary. I mean, I am like 1/8 of that, like when I channel him, he speaks with these huge words that I need to go look up in the dictionary because I can never understand what he's saying. But so things like that, a lot of visions, a lot of premonitions.
Wow.
And I too had a premonition about one of my children's deaths. When they were babies, I had a premonition that an officer would knock on our door, and I could see myself falling to the ground and screaming and crying. And it scared me to death. They were babies. And so I couldn't see which child it was. I couldn't hear which child it was. But that's the exact scene that played out when the officer came to our door to tell us about Anthony. And so that was years and years before.
Yeah.
But I do talk a lot about contracts because I think it's important for people to know. We make these contracts before we come into this world. There was nothing. I mean, I went through it too. I was like, I had so much guilt around not being able to save him.
Yeah, same.
And he told me over and over, there's nothing that you could have done to save me. Had you got me to the hospital, you could not have saved me. I was supposed to leave. And it was in my contract. And you contracted this with me when you were in spirit. And I was like, I would have never contracted to that.
Yeah, I was having the same, because I was getting like little visuals and blips, and look, you and I, we're going to be friends for a long time already. I already kind of feel it when I saw you come on screen tonight. I mean, we've talked, but when you came on screen tonight, I don't know how to explain. You know what? I don't know how to explain.
I know what you mean, but for others who may not, there's a cellular resonance, right?
Yeah.
When we meet somebody that's been in our soul group before. And so I've had several of those experiences with people. There's a cellular resonance and you don't know why, but you feel this connection to them.
I feel a mirroring with you.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're similar. We have similar things inside going on, similar gifts. I don't know. But I had blips and visions, and I would try to like push them away. And I didn't want to see, and I didn't want to know, when I just push them away before it happened. And I kept chalking it up to fear. And because I would have a lot of doctors say, and especially if it wasn't for you, you probably wouldn't be here this long if it wasn't for you. Because, I was pretty much my own MD. My own, I had a lot of his doctors say, you're pretty much an MD. And it was true. I'd worked in hospitals. I'd done all the studies. I just had not gotten my I was an MA in another field, but I just didn't want to believe it.
Yeah.
And then things started happening like I saw, and then all of this inside started happening, and I was like, hell to the no, this is not happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like feeling this guilt. If they'd only had me in the room, I could do healing along with their thing. If they'd only done this, if they don't, all the stuff you were saying.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And one day, Noah, while he was on the other side, started showing me this thing, talking to me. And I came to realize that he was born early. He was born, approximately 9, 10 weeks early,
Mm-hmm.
and he was supposed to have been born. Oh God, I can't. I've got a glitch on the brain right now. Um, September 12th, and he was born July the 8th,
Wow.
but he died September 12th.
Wow.
So he started showing me this, and I thought, what are the odds
Mm-hmm.
that he died when he was supposed to have been born?
Mm.
Do you see? No, when was, yeah, September 12th, because he was born, he died after the day after 9/11. Yeah.
Yeah, and I believe in coincidences at all.
So what are the odds of that, right?
Right.
So showing me that, I thought, why are you showing me that? That you died on the day you were supposed to be born. So I went and looked at records to find the proof that was the day you were supposed to be born.
Mm-hmm.
So it was almost like, see, mom, you could not have stopped this.
Yeah.
And I had to let that settle in for a moment. And then I remembered going back, because he had a lot of close calls where we got some miracles.
Mm-hmm.
Legit, and they're too long to tell you. One day I will. Legit in your face that the doctors couldn't explain. And we had receipts, miracles. And I can remember thinking back then, if I can just have you till you're 21, if I can just
Mm-hmm.
have you until you're grown up,
Yeah.
like that internal bargaining.
Yeah. I totally get it. We have
Yeah.
similar circumstances with that too, because I had a daughter at 40 years old. She's 12 now, and she was born sick. She had 4 intestinal surgeries, and she bled internally for 3 years. And we were at every doctor in the country. Nobody would operate on her. She was too fragile. They told me she would die. In fact, I think after her second surgery, she almost died. And so several times she's been down this road, and I turned to energy healing. That's when I became an energy healer, because I was like, traditional medicine has failed this child. I mean, and I had everybody against me. They were like, are you crazy? She
Yep.
needs traditional medicine. And I'm like, no, she does not. You guys have spinal tapped her. You've done horrible, put a port in her. You've done horrible, horrible things to this child. I've got to find another way because I have no answers. And so my energy healing when I became a Reiki 1 was selfishly just to heal my daughter. That's all I wanted at that time, and that's all I could see. And today, she is 6 years hospital free, and her hematologist, her oncologist, they are astounded. They're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, energy healing. And they're like, it's not possible. And I'm like, well, she hasn't had a blood transfusion in 6 years.
Yeah. Look, exactly. Because they were like, the last time he's been here was just for a checkup a year ago. He hasn't been in the hospital in how many years?
Wow.
I mean, it was the exact same thing.
Yeah. I light up when I hear stories about that, because I know there's more. I know there's more. Energy healing saved my life. It helped me through that heaviness and that grief in my chest. I never understood the physical aspect of grief, because emotionally, you understand, you hear those things, but you never hear the physical aspects of grief. And I felt like somebody was sitting on my chest. I couldn't breathe.
Oh, yes. I
Yes.
told them, I said, the first few days, I had to remind myself to literally breathe, to literally take breaths.
Yes. Because it feels like just somebody sitting on your chest, right?
Yeah.
I could not breathe. And he'd tell me, Mom, your heart, you've got to work on your heart. And at that point, honestly, I'll be honest with you, I didn't want to be here. I didn't really care at that point. I wanted to be with my son, and I couldn't see any other way. And I think the more I fell into that grief, the darker my energy got. I talk about it in the book. David Hawkins has a map of consciousness, and grief is all the way low on the scale, and joy, love, acceptance is near the middle and higher. When you're down in that lower part of the scale, you can get attachments, you can get cords, um, entities. All these things can happen when you're in this low frequency, right? So I was having dark, dark moments of not wanting to live. And the thing that's still amazes me today is, though, even though my son could not interfere with this lesson I was learning, he could help me. He could help me raise my frequency. He would come in and he would enter my body, and he would help me raise my frequency. And as I raised my frequency, I could fight these dark thoughts and tell them, get the hell out of here, get the fuck away. You know, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to kill myself, because I knew, and because of me, of who I am, I knew that if I killed myself, I would come back and I would have to do this again. And I was not doing this again.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm a psychotherapist, but I also had that near-death experience where I went to the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd seen the other side. And I had a shared death experience with a lady that was like my second mom. So
Oh, wow.
I had experienced that too. And I'm like you, I knew if I didn't, and I didn't want to be an absent mom for my daughter. That kept pulling me back. And
Yeah.
I felt like I had this silver umbilical cord still attached to Noah. I could feel him. And he was communicating with me telepathically. And like you, I was getting these nudges to breathe, to try to resonate higher, kicking me sort of, you know, trying to like shake me out of it. And just like you, I was getting that, you know, that nudge. And it's the only thing, and then certain songs or certain things, and it was the only thing like saving my butt. But then his toys started going off.
Mm.
And I was getting like messages. So, yeah.
It's so amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Every sign, I'm just in awe at the abilities that they have to be able to do the things that they do to communicate.
It's almost like they die and then they have to kind of do things to save our butts.
Mm-hmm. And that's part of that contract too. Anthony was supposed to be my primary guide after he passed for about 2 years. And that's when he stepped aside. And oh, for me, it was like losing him all over again. He kept telling me he was ascending, he was going higher, and he was no longer going to be my primary guide. And I remember crying and crying that I was losing him again. And he said, "You're not losing me. You know, you still have connection to me. I'm still here." But he was stepping aside so that I can now up level to my next ascension. So yeah, I've learned so much about the spirit world that I didn't know before. He's taught me so much about the other side. I just don't know why we weren't taught. You know what I mean? It pisses me off that we were not taught this from children, that you can have this connection. Like, why haven't we been taught another way about grief?
Well, up until the age of 5, we all still have it. Like I told you, I was connected with Raymond Moody, and I don't know if I told you, and William Roll. When I had the near death, you know, nobody could tell me at that time because I was a kid. So I went searching for anything, something to try to help me because I was so confused. Because I knew I died, I could see where my parents were, my brothers were as I was going up, where they were in different places, what they were doing as I was on my way. It was almost like God knew that I needed something to confirm that I died, so parents and people wouldn't think I was losing it.
Right.
So I went and found that book, Life After Life, by Raymond Moody. That's the closest thing that I was trying to figure out what happened to me. Fast forward, we moved to another state. I went to university. I ended up in a class. It said staff. And when I get in the class, Raymond Moody's in there with William Roll.
Wow.
And he helped me immensely. And he was one of my professors, mentors, among others. But William Roll told me, and a lot of them, up until the age of 5, we're all spiritually connected. It's all natural. But about 5, it starts getting taught out of us. We start getting indoctrinated into the world.
Yeah.
Very few are able to keep it. You, me, some. But most of us just get so indoctrinated into the world, into stress, into life, into math, into all the stuff, all the things, that we lose that ability. But, you know, the first 5 years is that. And then we get ages 6 to 12, we're in school. 12 to, or 13 to, you know, puberty. We hit puberty, and then we hit college, and then we start doing the world stuff to make money, right? And then when we hit 21 to 24, 25, those are the years, really, and by all, you know, gurus and other professors and stuff, we should be opening up all of our spiritual integrities. But it gets skipped. It totally gets skipped. And from all studies, that's the period of time that we should be learning all of that stuff and opening it up within us. But somehow, through all of these decades and hundreds of years, it has been like closed down from us.
Yeah.
And now they're trying to open it back up.
Which excites me, right? I'd have to say, with all of my clients, 9 out of 10 of my clients have some sort of ability, right? They can feel. A lot of them are very empathic, so a lot of them are clairsentient and they feel. But a lot of them are very clairvoyant and they try to close those visions off, right? They don't want to see anything like that or hear clairaudient. They don't want it. I didn't really hear that. You know, I couldn't have heard that. That's nonsense. Yeah. I must be going crazy.
They're afraid.
Yeah. So we have them, but we discredit them. I didn't hear that. I didn't see that. I didn't feel that. You know, I didn't feel spirit behind me breathing on my neck. You know what I mean? So it's like we have it, but so often we discredit it. We've been told that's not real. That's not true. You know, there's no tangible evidence. Well, why do you need tangible evidence? This is something, these are our senses, right? Our intuitive senses. They are God's gift to us.
Yeah. I mean, just like, you know, I teach people in here, we get monkey mind, right? People try to trust what's in here, but we get so monkey minded, you can't trust it half the time. And people try to trust their heart, but you know what happens there. The biggest place that we can trust is our gut instinct. And that's directly connected to creator, to spirit, to universe, or whatever you want to call it. That is the place that you most of all can trust, and it won't lead you astray.
Right.
If you really, really think about it. And most of the time, people don't listen to it. They don't. If you think about it, it is what is connected.
Yeah. Do you remember? I remember when I was so I went to college later in life, but I was taking psychology. And I remember them saying about people that were attacked or raped, like getting on the elevator. They had a sense. They got like something happened and they got this sense that they shouldn't get on that elevator. Yet they got on that elevator and something happened. And then you hear the opposite. They were supposed to go to work, like 9/11. They were supposed to go to work that day, but something happened and they didn't go to work. You know what I mean? So I think everybody gets it, but whether you listen to it or not is a choice, right? We have free will while we're here. So you have your choice whether you're going to listen to it or not. But if I always say, you've got to listen to those gut feelings that you get about people. You can't discredit those gut feelings and just say, well, I'm being silly, or that doesn't matter, because that saved my ass. I can't tell you how many times that has saved me.
I mean, just that instinctual first primary, just the first thing, just go with it. Always, always, always.
Yes. Before your logical mind can get involved.
Yeah, because sometimes people feel bad when the gut feeling says to do something because you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings, or you don't want,
Yeah.
that's
I
when
know.
everything else gets in the way. But this community right here, I created it because it's psychological. It's a lot spiritual. It's we talk about the social commentary some, but I've opened it so people don't feel bad about exploring their spiritual selves,
Yeah.
asking questions, talking about grief, talking about being empathic, talking about what it is to feel this or hear that, or
Mm-hmm.
so they can explore those aspects of themselves, or talking about generational trauma, all the things.
Yeah, talking about all the things that are taboo that my parents' generation was squash it down. You don't want to feel that. Take a pill. You don't want to feel that. So that was all that, squash it down. And now here we come, and we have all these ancestral stuff that's coming through that may not even be ours, but it may be our mothers or grandmothers, and it can go back and back. But we have that in our cellular memory, right? So we're
Yep.
like, now we want to talk about it. I commend you. I think what you're doing is wonderful. I think it's so needed in this world, to be open and to speak about it, because that's where it starts, right? Is bringing awareness to people. Most people have had these experiences, but they don't know that other people have had it, and they're afraid to discuss it with other people.
And also, don't you agree? Really, all of it, spiritually, scientifically, psychologically, it's all really connected. Even, you know, I don't care what religion anybody is. I don't care. I respect everybody's religion. Ultimately, I explored all of the religions. When you're on the other side, it all goes to the same place. And that's the truth.
Yeah.
My experience on the other side, the creator that I found was a big, brilliant, beautiful, blinding, energetic white light of understanding and consciousness and love. I didn't see a man on the throne. My experience.
Right.
And it was beautiful, and there was just so much more, too much to explain right now. But I wanted this community, which is not in a niche, however you want it to say, to be a place of safety and love. And I call it your vibe attracts your tribe. And I talk about people resonating higher, and energy healing and quantum healing, and I was so attracted to you in that way. Um, and let's talk about that some more too. Your experience with healing.
Oh, it really has changed from the beginning. I started with Reiki 1, and it opens so much of my spiritual abilities. Because I had them also. When you go back to talking about children, I saw spirit. I would say, things like, I see this person or that person. We don't talk about that. So, and often it scared me, because as a child, I believed I was making bad things happen, right? I thought, so I would get a premonition about I was going to be in a car accident, and then I would be in a car accident, thinking I was making that car accident happen at that time, because I had nobody around me that I could discuss this with.
Yeah.
Not until later on could I see that those were premonitions. So I closed a lot of that off. And then when I started Reiki 1, the channels opened again, right? I was going through a nasty, nasty divorce. My child was sick. I mean, I thought that was the lowest point in my life. I was wrong. That was another dark night of the soul that took me from the depths of hell and brought me up. So I've gone through huge transformations, but I've always had this deeper and inner attraction to all types of healing. And it's funny because I studied a lot of different healings. I have a lot of different modalities I studied. I also have downloaded my own modalities from Creator. So, but it all goes back to healing, right? And my
Yeah.
healing has changed. And since my son has passed, my healing has sort of amplified in a way, right? I mean, I know you do live healings on this show. If you want to do one and somebody needs some healing, I'd be happy to do it with you. Healing is my first love. I could talk about healing for hours and hours.
I'm like you. I started with a Reiki and went through the levels to master Reiki.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, the symbols and all of that stuff, and I loved it. But to me, it became, I'm not putting it down, but with the symbols and everything, to me, it felt a little tedious.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Again, not putting it down. But then I started studying energy healing and quantum healing. And like you, I guess I downloaded some stuff, and it all sort of, I put it in a pot or something and mixed it up, and became something of my own, I guess. I still
And
sort of,
that's the beautiful progression of it, right? Because even though we have all these connections with people, we are so unique, right? We are so unique in what we do. We can do the same thing, but we do not do it the same way.
yeah, but I
Mm-hmm.
still always want to study.
Yes. I think I'm like a born a learner.
I mean, I tell my husband and my mom, if I could afford it, I would be in college probably my whole life because I love to learn. I love to take classes. I love to learn new things. Okay, I can't even say that name, so that has to be a troll. I wouldn't even try to pronounce that name. Can you say it?
No, I don't see it. Let me see.
Recognitica abidukaduka? I can't. RCUNYZINH AKBTFCUH. I can't, that's not even hard.
So do you get trolls on here?
Occasionally.
Yeah, because I've seen them pop up. I have a new YouTube channel with a student of mine that was directed to me through my son. And when I first met her, we talked about it. We knew we were going to be working together, and I've never met her. She showed up in my office one day, and that's how our relationship started. But it's called Keeping It Real with the Sisters of the Light. And so I always wonder about that because there's so many bots and trolls out. Like everybody's trying to like discredit you.
Well, I'm going
Just
to put
pisses me off.
Keeping It Real with
Mm-hmm.
the
The Sisters
Sisters
of
of
the
the.
Light.
Alrighty then. I'll put it in the chat.
Cool. And then my other one is Sedona Soul Sisters Show. I work in Sedona on the weekends now because we're in this transitional period. But my Sedona Soul Sisters, they were also put into place at a time about a year before I was guided to move to Sedona. And I met them and I started working with them about a year before Anthony passed. So also in my contract to have that support on earth
Yeah.
while I had the support of him in heaven. Because having the support of people on earth to help me, they're really wonderful psychic mediums, been doing this for over 30 years. And I have to tell you, they can predict when somebody's going to pass. They'll get a vision. Nobody was allowed to know that my son was going to pass. They were just as shocked as I was the day that I told them.
Yeah. When I have done sessions with people, I don't generally like to say, oh, by the way, so and so's going to.
Right.
I don't like to go there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really hard to tell somebody, even if it's the person that they have, what you see. I know Roz is one of my Sedona soul sisters was telling me, we were discussing it the other day. She was like, I try to say like things around like maybe you should look at this avenue or that avenue.
James Pruitt says, I have been writing. He has his own channel too. He's very spiritual.
Hi,
And,
James.
and he also has a special daughter. He said, I've been writing about, I can't see it because of my thing on my channel.
How we all create our own healing rituals.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He says, thanks for the synchronicity verification. Yeah, I can remember when I'm starting to open up to do reading sessions with people again. I had shut it off for a while because I used to feel this weird guilt like if I continue to do that, they're going to take Noah from me, which is stinking thinking.
Yeah.
You get like that sometimes, especially if you've got a special needs kid.
Mm-hmm.
But I can remember, hello, Virginia Woolf. He goes, hello, Terri. Virginia Woolf is actually a very talented man that writes music and sings.
Oh, how beautiful.
Um, but you remember the old movie Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? Had Liz Taylor in it.
No.
Before our time. It's way before our time. But anyway, what was I saying? I got brain fog.
You're going back to doing readings.
Oh yeah, I have MS, so I get glitchy too sometimes. Sorry, but I've started to go back to do it. But when I first started doing them a long time ago, because Dr. Roll encouraged me to do it after I'd been tested, because I was a psychotherapist, very paranoid about doing it because I was trying to be professional. I didn't want to be outed.
I don't think any of us, if any of us had to choose this path, I don't think any of us would have. It was like most people I know have fought this path.
Yeah, absolutely. So I went on eBay. Because I figured nobody'd find me there. And I did the most crazy ritual around me before I ever did them because I wanted to keep dark energy away.
Yeah.
Because I was always afraid. Forgive my COVID voice. I was always afraid I would let some dark energy in.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just trying to keep protective white light at all costs around me. Talking about rituals.
Yeah.
Do you do any?
Oh, absolutely. I was raised Roman Catholic, so
there you go.
so you're scared of everything. You have a ton of fear embedded in you by the time you're 18 years old. I was told I was going to bring the devil in and all this stuff. So I always brought in white light. And today, before we connected here, I have to tell you, I created a sacred energetic container between you and I and Noah and Anthony. And I always do that when I'm working with somebody. And because I like my space to be set with beautiful, high frequency light.
Same.
So I set that space. Sacred space is very important to me. I have tons of rituals that I do. I sage, I say prayers, I sing chants. I do it all.
I always call. I usually say a prayer and then I call upon Archangel Uriel, Gabriel, Raphael, and Michael before I do every show.
Mm-hmm. I do Michael, Uriel, Raphael, and Gabriel.
See, I told you we were going. And then I have my selenite right here at the desk at all times. So anyway, I'm so raspy tonight. Please forgive me.
That's okay. But you know what I found really helped me too when I was in that dark place? I was having a lot of dark attacks. Roz's partner makes orgonite, which a lot of that dark energy comes in through our electronics, the EMFs and stuff. I don't know much about that, but I had a lot of orgonite in my house, and I gridded my bedroom, and I had a pyramid of orgonite under my bed because I was being attacked nightly in my dreams.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, horrific nightmares, and my frequency was so low. That's when he would come in. I'm telling you, I would be there and I could see the dark coming over me. I couldn't speak. I was trying to get to my husband, and I was trying to tell my husband to help me, help me. I couldn't speak. I was paralyzed. And my son, I would say in my head, please help me. And he'd come in, and his light would start to enter from the ceiling down, and then it would expand around me, and then I would have the power to speak. When you have your power, get the hell out of here, it goes. You can't mess with me, it goes. My son would help me be able to do that because I had that power. They were able to paralyze my physical energy. It was so, oh my God, it was just like the worst experience going through this until I could really get to that point where I could heal that grief.
Wow. I used to have an orgonite necklace. I don't know what's happened to it since then, but I know exactly what you're talking to. Now, episodes ago, I was talking to them about grounding. You can go outside barefoot and if it's not too cold, and stand on the ground without your phone and release a lot of EMFs into the ground. I mean, your levels, you can take an EMF meter and you literally can see your levels drop significantly just by standing on the ground outside.
Yeah, I have a grounding mat that I was using when we were traveling.
And I've talked to them about that as well.
They're wonderful. Except for some reason, if I leave it on me, on the bed at night, it keeps me awake. So I can't leave it on the bed. But when I'm working, I put my feet on it in my office.
And can you feel a difference from the mat?
Absolutely.
I haven't tried the mat. My husband was like, if you plug it in the little hole, does it really help? Because you're plugging it in the electrical outlet.
But it has the ground. It has that special thing that goes on it.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not technological, so I don't know what it's called. That special thing.
But I mean, it makes complete sense. I mean, I've read all the studies and watched Clint Ober. The Clint Ober videos where. But anyway, yeah. See, we've done all the studies. You and I.
Told you, a lifetime learner. I'm here to learn.
Yeah. It's so important. And I've talked to them about we're literally in a spiritual warfare as it stands.
Absolutely. Oh my God, you're talking to my heart.
I mean, we cannot depend on Democrat, Republican. We cannot depend on what's going on in the world for people to help us. It is an individual thing as we stand. We have
you know what I always tell people too? Don't take what I'm saying as word. You go out, you do your own research, right? You'll be responsible for you. Do your own research and see what you're being told. When that veil is lifted, man, you can see clearly through what's going on. And I've been talking for years that this was going to be happening, and everybody thought I was crazy, but now we're in it, and we're fighting for our spiritual independence, right? These gifts that we have, we're not special. We all have these gifts.
That's what I've tried to tell them. Don't look at me like I'm some, Soraya or something to be like, oh, we all have the abilities. You all have your individual gifts, but it takes self-care first and foremost. It takes learning to resonate higher, turning up your own radio station.
Yeah, because then it's like an antenna, right? If you're playing your radio and it's not coming in right, you play with in the old days, you used to play with the tuner, right? But you'd play with the tuner till it came in. The same as us. We are antennas, right? Our pineal gland is that antenna.
Yeah.
We have that
connection.
Yep. And I believe, it's my belief that we've been poisoned, we've been chemicalized, then that's been really the point. Yep. And that's the point that they've wanted to get to all on. Fluoride. I mean, I used to give my oldest son is 31 this year. I used to give my kids fluoride, fluoride, fluoride when they were little. You know, the dentist would say they need fluoride. Okay. I would just, as a young mom, okay, my children need fluoride. So they were fluorided up.
Yeah. And the way you can decalcify it is, like apple cider vinegar.
Yep. Sunlight.
And some certain vegetables can help too, but the point being is we have to lift up each other, be kind to people around us, grow your own vegetables,
Yes.
defluoridate, if that's a word, learn how to do conscious breathing, learn how to meditate, do self-care. We have to do the domino effect to try to take care of others around us. It doesn't take huge things. We can do small things.
Yeah.
We have to learn how to tap into our spiritual selves and quit being so dark and mean to other people. Don't listen to other people. Listen to yourself. Go
Yeah.
out. Like, for instance, all the can't speak. All the darkness on YouTube, darkness around you. Don't listen to idle chatter about what other people are doing. Listen to how people treat you. How's that person treating you? Listen to that.
Or
Listen
how
to
does it make you feel, right? How
yeah,
does it make you feel? If you're watching something and it's not feeling good to you, and I
that.
use the feeling because I am very clairsentient and I know a lot of people are clairsentient. So I use the feeling. But if you get this feeling that you're watching this and it's not good for you,
Right.
I would say don't watch it. That is a clear indication that there's some cellular frequency in you, right? Some visceral feeling is coming up that you should not be watching this.
Use your gut instinct.
Mhm.
Be use your discernment. Use your discernment. Use your own sensibilities.
Yeah. We've been taught to look outside ourselves for the answers, right? When all along the answers are right within us. We just have to get to that space where we can quiet, right? We can quiet, get into that stillness point, and you'd be amazed how even 5 minutes of meditation, I always start with my clients 5 minutes of meditation. Don't tell me you can't do 5 minutes of meditation, you can do it.
Do
But
it on the toilet.
right. Or when you're driving, or you know what I mean? Or when you're sitting before bed, when you're very relaxed, because before bed, you start to get into that in between space where you're going to leave your body. Your soul's gonna go do what it's supposed to do while you're sleeping. But you get into that space. But meditation brings about so much. It lowers blood pressure. It helps you have more peace and calm within you, and then gives you the abilities, right? When you can think clearly, you're able to make those decisions a little bit easier. And that's just through meditation. So imagine when you add in the deep breathing or you add in the tapping, you add in those things, and that's all healing, right? Everything we do is healing. We've just not, those things that are coming up for us. It's funny because these old ancient things are coming up for me, and they've been used for eons, right? But very rarely, I mean, well, now because we're going into this new spiritual era, they're coming back to light, right? We entered the age of Aquarius. The divine feminine is rising. That old patriarch way of thinking, the way of you have to struggle, you have to work hard, that was indoctrinated into you. That's all going away. The divine feminine is rising. I'm so excited about that.
You can get on one of those big blow up balls and lean backward on it in a just weird position and roll on it, and you're meditating. You know why? Because you're in a weird position that you have to focus on not falling on your head. So you're meditating. I
Yep.
mean, That's what I'm saying. If I hang upside down on a couch and my hands are touching on the floor, I'm meditating. I'm just trying to give them unusual things to make it simple.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're basically meditating because you have nothing to do but focus on the fact you're upside down. They try to make it more difficult than it has to be. Is
Yeah.
my point. Anything that puts you out of your normal space and just makes you in the moment puts you in a meditative space.
Mm-hmm.
If you're sitting on the toilet and you lean down on your knees, it will put you in a meditative space.
And you know, that goes back to, we never want to be alone. We never want it to be quiet. We always want to go, 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 go. We're always doing something. You know, when you get to that place of just being, when you could be alone with yourself and just be, it's just an amazing feeling, isn't it? You know, but we've been taught run, run, run. You know, my kids too. I had 3 boys under 3, and we used to go to soccer, football, baseball every season. You know, sporting events, school. So we were running, running, running constantly. We never had any downtime to, you know, think about meditating or anything like that. But when you can do it, and it's so simple to do.
You know, I almost wonder sometimes if people are afraid to hear their own heartbeat. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Hmm.
Because it makes them too connected with the earth, with the now, with the moment, with the fact they're alive. People are so afraid to connect with the fact that they're in this world and there is, I don't know, a now and a greater, something greater than themselves.
Yeah.
But in here, oftentimes I'll say, let's take a moment to do conscious breathing. And we do that. Now, I don't know how much they're doing on the other side, but I'm doing it over here out loud.
And you're bringing awareness to it. I don't think we are taught to breathe. We very, you know, we shallow breathe. You very, if you are conscious of what you're doing, that deep breathing, bringing that energy up and out, or even releasing that energy up and with like, ah, you know, releasing that energy through sound, that's so healing.
Yeah, it
It
is.
can be so simple.
Um, do you want to give us a little? If you had to write something on the back of your book, what would it say?
The back of my new book.
Not the one that's coming out. You can give us
Oh.
the one about your son.
The one about my son, if I had to write something on the back of it, I would say, hmm, let me think about it.
You know, to give somebody a little bite.
Well, what I'm hearing him say is, even when you feel hopeless, there's hope, right? Even
Yeah,
in those darkest moments where you think you can't take it anymore, when you're really at your end, there's always hope. So if I could say anything and I could share anything from that, is that through pain comes beauty. It's not overnight. If you can see that, it's such a beautiful gift. It's hard to say that, you know, not having your child here in the physical, it's not easy.
no.
Not easy at all. But the beauty, the relationships that I've made, the people's lives that have read the book and reached out to me, those moments, they give me a sense of fullness in my heart that's missing when my son isn't here. That makes sense?
Yeah. And don't you agree that, and this is going to sound crazy, even though our children are on the other side, the relationship continues, which
Absolutely.
people think is wackadoo. It's
And
not.
yeah, I was in denial, like, because I was hearing him, seeing him psychically, right? But then the human mother is missing this child. For me, I found it to be very, very difficult because I do what I do, right? So I was in denial that he was dead. It was like, and then he's not dead because he's here. He's showed me over and over again that he is here with us. He's not just showed me, he showed my family, friends, people that are not spiritually awake.
Yeah.
So I think that, when you see that, it's like, wow, I think really the time is we're coming into for people to be spiritually expanded is now. The veil is really thin. So people maybe that were not as spiritually open are becoming more spiritually open because of their experiences.
Now we had when Anastasia was here, we had someone say, "Well, is it really their job to take care of you, and are they hanging out here?" And I tried to explain to them,
Sometimes, like my son, it was his job. It was in our contract that he was to be here for 2 years after he left to be my primary guide. I couldn't have gotten through what I got through without him. So I'm going to say in that case, absolutely. In my case, yes. In my experience, yes, it was his job. That was part of his job.
but also I tried to explain to them that when they go to the other side, the way the energy is, they can kind of come and go. They don't have to necessarily hang out. They can come and go.
And they can be with multiple people at once. It's
Yeah,
not just you.
the way the energy is, it's kind of like they're not heavy and solid like we are. Like you have to get in a car and drive 2 hours, and it's not like that. It's like moving through air quickly.
Yeah.
It's not like they think how we are.
Hmm.
It's like a blink and time doesn't exist, and it's just not the same.
Yeah.
You can move with a thought. You can move with a thought.
And they're there, right? When you think about them, they're there. My son comes in, I still cry when he comes in, and I still cry when he leaves. I
Yeah.
don't know that if that'll ever change, right? But for me, that energy that comes in is just now I'd say I cry because it's such a beautiful, it's so hard to put in words. It's an unconditional place of like he's holding me, you know what I mean? So it's not that I'm grieving the loss of him because I know he's here. It's that just unconditional love that I'm feeling with him. And yeah, I do miss him sometimes in the physical. I'm not going to lie. Of course I miss him, but I have a relationship with him where I see him more now than I did as a 27-year-old man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I get you. I mean, I would love to be able to touch and hold Noah.
Mhm.
Now, I still can I can still see every nuance of him. My fingers between his fingers, the birthmark on the back of his neck. I can still see every nuance of him.
Yeah.
There are moments I can still smell him. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I can still feel him sometimes. But do I miss the actual touch? You know what I mean? Oh, heck yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely 100%. But I am grateful to still be connected. So much, so much. When I don't when I don't actually have the toys go off, where they, like I caught it on video recently, was able to play it. Because
That's awesome.
it was hard to catch because you never know. It's not like I know, oh, he's coming today, I'm going to take a video.
Right.
Um, but it's usually holidays, birthdays, special occasions. If I'm particularly low or something, he'll randomly come and a toy will go off or play a message or play something it's not programmed to play.
Yeah, I find his birthday to be a lot harder even than his angelversary. I find the birthday that I'm reliving not only because I'd be here celebrating with him, right? I'm celebrating the day he came to me. And
Yeah.
so I find his birthday to be really difficult. Like last year, we were on the road traveling, and I had all these plans, these elaborate plans of what I was going to do to celebrate his birthday, and I stayed in bed all day. I couldn't get out of bed, and I had to honor that too, because it's like that's this place I was in at that time.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that if you're going through your grief and you're healing your grief, because I believe we can heal grief, that is going to be like easy, and that you're just going to be like wake up one day and be like, oh, this is great, I'm healed. No, I think you're going to become a different person. I don't think you can go back to the person who you were.
It does change you.
Yes.
I mean,
And it's
that's,
meant to change you. It's meant to do that. These contracts that we have with our children who've passed, they were created to give us the opportunity for our souls also. So they have their contract, we have ours, and then we have the one together. To give us the opportunity for our soul to grow and expand to where they wanted to grow and expand when they came here. And what a beautiful opportunity when you look at it. Like I said, the people that I've met, people like you, other mothers, other parents, other people that just reach out to me and say, oh, I read your book. Oh my gosh, it was wonderful. And it helped me so much. It helped me started to believe. I've had people that whose children have passed through suicide, and their family members tell them they went to hell. What kind of person does that to somebody? I'm always amazed. I'm like, how could you tell somebody that their child is in hell? Like,
yeah.
what is wrong with the world that we live in, that you think it's okay to tell somebody because their child committed suicide that child's in hell? Like, how dare you? So I think that having that expansion, right, that awareness, having that beauty come out of that pain, I think that's the other side, and that's what we're striving to get to, becoming somebody different, helping somebody, because now you've had this experience.
Yeah. I mean, and just like, the creator is a parent of all, what no parent is going to put their child in hell because they're in pain.
Mm-hmm.
They're not. That's not what occurs. That is an untruth. So that, yeah, that's cruel.
Cool.
Ugh.
It's a cruel world. I think where we're going is people are becoming more aware. You're going to see what I've been shown is that we will go back to that old way of life where people are making their own food. They're living on homesteads. They have their own communities. The government's not telling them what to put in their body. All these things are occurring now. I think you're going to see a shift. There's going to be a lot more alternative healing. You're going to move away from big farm, and you're going to start to see that, through herbs and natural herbs and growing your own food without pesticides, that, you're living a healthier lifestyle. And then you're able to have that community around you too.
Yeah, very much so. I'm trying so hard to build a community here and increase it here and do exactly what you're talking about, what I'm talking about, and just expand it where it's loving and kind and supportive and uplifting, and just hopefully where everybody's able to open their own abilities and feel safe about it. So,
Yeah.
um, tell them a little, if it's okay. I don't know if it's okay, about your upcoming book.
Oh, so my upcoming book, it's been a progression for sure. Being raised Roman Catholic, I've always had an affinity with Mary. When I was young, I would call on Mary if I was scared. So there were good things that came out of my religious upbringing too. So when my son was ascending at 2 years, he was starting to ascend higher, and he wasn't going to be my primary guide. And at that time, I was going through that lot of grief again. He brought in my main guide, which is Frederick, and through Frederick came Mary. And I have to tell you, my first experience with Mary now recently was mind blowing. I thought Anthony's energy was amazing. it was so bright, and I felt so held. Like, I can't even put it into words what it felt like. I felt so held in love, like it was from the inside. It wasn't outside of me, but it was from the inside. And so I've worked with Mary a lot over the last 6 to 8 months now. And this new book is going to be channeling 12 transmissions. It's called the Crystalline Light Series, Volume 1. And the 12 transmissions of Mary are in this book. And
Wow.
so this book is going to be like a workbook that you can do. Each transmission builds off the next. So, and expect a lot of transformation to come through this. I share a lot of my experiences, what has happened to me as I've done each transmission. I've only gotten up to transmission 9 that I've actually channeled. So the other 3 are still waiting to come as I go forward. I'm working with my publisher now, and we're excited for this. I really feel like this book is going to touch so many people, because it's my belief, what I've been shown, that Mary's aspect is here on earth now. And in the Aquarian age that we're going in, there are many different people, not just me. I'm not the only one that are connecting with Mary. So those aspects, I call them like little sparks, are out in people, and people are starting to have these visions of Mary, these feelings that they were Mary, that they're an ascendant of Mary. And so one of the first visions she gave me was I was at the crucifixion. And I was there, and my doorkeeper, Frederick, was with me, and I was there. And so I've told several people this story, and what occurred, I'm mind blown. Every person that I've told, 3 so far now, have told me they were at the crucifixion of Jesus. That they described the exact scene that I described. They described the exact feeling that I described, what people were wearing, down to the T. So let me tell you, there's no coincidences in this world. And if you want to think that's crazy, you know, you're free will to think whatever you'd like.
It sounds amazing. So, I mean, I feel excited to see that workbook, actually.
It's going to be amazing. I think it's going to be so transformative, because I've transformed through this. So this is my experience. I've transformed, and those transmissions are coming through me for me to have my experience, to share that with others, right? We're never going to have the same experience. There's going to be people that pick up that book and maybe do one transmission. They can't go through all the transmissions. That's not what it's about. It's not about doing all 12 transmissions. Every person's going to be different, right? So some people may not finish it. Some people will try to go right through it, and they're not going to be able to, because the work that's going to come through each transmission is the work that they're going to need to do. And not everybody's going to be able to do that or face that. I'm going to be honest with you. It's amazing work, but not everybody's going to be able to do it.
When do you expect it might be out?
Oh, I'm hoping. So I have 3 more transmissions to do. I'm hoping by March, I'm going to start working with my publisher and my editor again. So I'm hoping over the next 6 months that it'll be out.
That sounds amazing. I know you have to be excited.
I'm so excited for this. This, Anthony, so this is my book, and this is my son.
Wow.
This was his baby. He showed me visions that this book was his baby, because he went to college for communications and journalism. And this book that I'm doing now is my baby.
It sounds wonderful.
It is. I'm very excited for it.
I want to buy a copy from you so I can get it signed.
Absolutely.
I have it's not a bad habit, but I have a habit of getting signed copies from the author, because I like to keep them. I'm a bookaholic. I like to keep my books.
Yeah, I can send you a copy.
I don't like to pass them on.
Mm-hmm.
I like real books. I don't like to do Kindle.
Oh, I'm still old school. I like real books.
Yeah, me too. My daughter makes fun of me.
My son too.
So, But
that would be awesome.
it has been a complete joy to have you on here. I want to see if anybody in the chat would like to ask you any questions
Okay.
because they've been intently listening. So I'm opening up chat for anyone that would like to ask Terri some questions. Everybody's been like quiet. And there's a lot of people just, well, you know that listen in the bushes.
Absolutely.
When we shut down, it's always a lot more people. Well,
I shared it in a lot of spaces, so.
Anybody in the chat, would you like to ask Terri any questions? Hello, hello, hello. Virginia says, hi, Terri. Where do you suggest we start to learn about healing? Now, some of us in here, we talk about energy healing and quantum healing, but where would you also suggest?
Starting, I still, I know I transformed through Reiki 1. Reiki 1 really opened a lot for me. So, and it's and the reason I like Reiki 1, I tell all my clients and students, is because it does 21 days of self-healing. So you are providing the healing to yourself. You're getting to know your own body, your own channels, where you're holding resistance or stagnant energy in your body. And that connection with your body, I think, makes a huge difference in it. I started with Usui Reiki. I went to Theta. I've done Karuna Reiki. I've done Lytharian Reiki. I've done quantum healing. I do past life regression. I've done Violet Flame 4.0 as my own DNA activation. That's my own modality. I've done seed therapy, which I created with my girlfriend. There's many avenues. I say tune into, if something resonates with you, or you're like, oh, that really interests me, I want to learn more about it. Look into it and check it out and see what it's about.
JC Bear says, as a former Roman Catholic, do you think your connection with Mary stems from that upbringing?
Part of it, yeah. But I also believe that I'm in the lineage. I've been shown that I'm in the lineage of the Rose lineage. So, and a lot of people believe that right now. Like, going back to those aspects, I said, I believe, and I've been shown that Mary's energy is on Earth at this time, and she sent out these sparks, so people are starting to have these experiences. But yeah, absolutely.
Anybody else? And does anyone need healing today? Sometimes we'll have people come in here. And,
I would love to do healing with you for somebody. Let me put my phone back here so can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I don't know if anybody does or not, but if anybody needs anything specifically healed, step up. Although I have COVID.
I can actually, do some healing on you if you like.
Yes, please go ahead.
And when you have two healers working together, you know how the energy feels.
Yeah, I do.
Mm-hmm.
All the shoeless ones in here too. And he was in my chat, and he's one of my mods. And when he came in, I was like, "You're a healer." So I encouraged him to do healing, and now he's been able to take some wonderful healing classes in Australia, which I'm jealous
Awesome.
because I wish I was there actually doing them.
Yeah.
But anywho, I'll do it with you, but I'll get residual maybe from myself, but mine's probably not the best right now. Okay.
Okay. And sometimes when I start healing, I start to yawn, and that's how I release energy.
I sweat in the back of my head.
And I move a lot.
Anybody that's in the chat, you will benefit.
Yes, we'll send the energy to everybody on the chat or anybody on the call, the replay. Anybody that wants to receive can receive.
Only love and light.
Yes. I always call them love, light, peace, and truth. And so notice where you're feeling it. A lot of people feel energy in many different places. Sometimes they feel it. If you're getting any warmth or tingling. Right now I'm feeling a lot of energy around my chest area. Ooh. How's that feeling for you?
Feels good, thank you.
And so sometimes I go into drawing light language too, so that may came through. If that's what you see me doing, that's what I'm doing.
Oh, here comes another healer. Here we go. It's about to get real.
Awesome.
The power of three.
Perfect Trinity.
Everybody in chat, everybody viewing can benefit from this now. Real.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody that's hurting and replay the bushes, the chat, I request that you take advantage. James, let Emily take advantage. I'm getting unusual visuals, Terri.
What'd you say? I'm sorry.
I'm getting unusual visuals. Like an angelic hall of mirrors.
All I heard was angelic what?
Angelic hall of mirrors.
Okay. I definitely feel interdimensional presence as well.
Okay. Whoa, that was so
Ooh.
bright.
Ooh. Ooh.
I was in the brightest light.
I could feel so much energy running through my chest. Like it was just like beaming out. Oh. Mm.
How many of you in chat could feel that energy? Sorry, I got to a place that it was just like, whoa. I appreciated this. I
I'm
didn't
glad
think
to do
I
it.
was going to be able to be in a place of the healing light, but I got to a place of, um, it was, no, I don't want to call it weird. At one point, it was like angelic, uh, hall of mirrors because I was in angelic space where it was just expanding and expanding and expanding with the healing energy. And I always try to go to the the light that's generated, but then all of a sudden it was just light, angelic light, and it was so massive. It was like I was back in that space. It was just huge and comforting. It was just I was back in angelic light.
Yeah.
James said I could feel it and was working to help amplify it. So cool.
Thank you.
Shelley could feel it. Virginia Woolf, could you feel it? I've always worked with angels, but this was when I got to that place where it was just like I was massively within the angelic realm and the light was just huge.
Mm. Beautiful.
Shelley said she could too.
Yay.
I pray that everybody that watches this, replays this, connects with this, bathes in it. That they just bathe in it.
And set that intention now that they all feel that beautiful energy. And thank you, Shoeless, for helping us too.
Yes.
Anytime.
Didn't it feel wonderful?
Heck yeah.
I mean, JC said it was just a great wave of relation. Relation? Explain. Relaxation. Autocorrect. Autocorrect's not my friend.
No.
I just felt like I needed to come in and help give you a boost. So
I love it. I was hoping that you would.
Yay.
Terri said,
Thank
I could
you.
feel when you all were about to stop it was like waking up from a sleep. Yeah, it lifted. That is the mm, 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 mm. That is what I hope people can get a sense of. It's something you can explain, like you can explain love. Love isn't tangible, but it exists. Creator isn't tangible, but exists. Energy isn't necessarily tangible, but it exists. When we lose a loved one physically, they're still alive, right? Not necessarily tangible, but they exist.
Absolutely.
Let's make this conversation carry on, right? Let's make people stop being fearful. That's what this place is for. That's why you and I are still talking about it and making people open up their ears.
And when you experience it, even for the first time, because I have to tell you, my husband didn't believe any of this when I started. And once he had his first session with me and he could feel the energy moving out of his body, um, his mind was blown, because once you experience it, you can't go back from that. So don't take our word for it. Go experience it yourself. Find a healer near you or do a distance session, and experience it for yourself.
And see now, since no, I'll tell you one thing. Since Noah moved to the other side, I have discovered, oddly enough, when people are in trouble, even when they don't ask me to, sometimes my energy will leave my body to go to them. Sometimes when people are in emotional distress or some kind of serious trouble, to go to them to assist and then come back to me. Even if I don't want to be in that position, it has happened.
Yeah, it happens organically. It just starts to happen.
Yes, I knew we were connected for a reason.
Absolutely.
So these conversations will go on. And yes, we're friends for a reason.
I appreciate you. I'm telling you, I love you. I think that it's wonderful what you're doing. It's so needed. I said it earlier, it's so needed right now. And people are going through so much grief, even, through COVID in these last 2 years. They're going through so much grief and loss. It's really, really needed now. So I
Yes.
commend you. I think it's wonderful what you're doing.
Oh, you as well. And I'm sure that you will be back here.
Well, I'd love to.
And I love you too. I
I'm
just recently met
I'm
you.
going to say I'm just going to jump off back to work. So have an awesome night, ladies. Love you both. We'll see you
Thank
soon.
you. Love you too. Bye bye. But I want to tell you, I am so very grateful that you came up tonight.
Me too.
I want to thank you from the very bottom of my heart. I appreciate you so much. I want everybody to take the opportunity to get Terri's book.
Yeah,
Please.
so this is it. From Death to Life, The Incredible True Story of Anthony Joseph, and it's on Amazon. And you can order Kindle or paperback. And if you want to book a session with me too, you can get me at terriannrussell.as.me and experience some energy healing for yourself.
Yeah. And you can also find her on YouTube. Tell them again.
Keeping It Real with the Sisters of the Light. That's my one show with my girlfriend that we talk about all things spiritual. And then the Sedona Soul Sister Show. That's where I work, and we do podcasts every Friday. So Sedona Soul Sister Show.
And I will make sure that I put the links below after I get the replay done. But
I appreciate you so much. This was so wonderful. It always feels like it brings me closer to him, if that's even possible, when we talk about, our children. And so I liked what you said earlier when you said mention their names and say their names, and keep bringing them up, because as soon as you say their name, they're here.
And I'm just so grateful and humble and appreciative and glad to know you. And I feel like I have made a lifetime friend.
I feel the same.
But everybody, yes, please buy her book. Visit her, do whatever. Make an appointment with her, go to her YouTube channel. But again, thank you so, so very much. And I will be talking to you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. Everybody, thank you for coming. I love you all from the bottom of my heart. If you would like to buy me a coffee, I guess I did not put it there. I'm such a ding dong. You can do so at Miracles 3 at charter.net on PayPal. I didn't do it, but you can. She already left. But wasn't she wonderful? Oh, please, she was a joy. I enjoyed this so very much. Thank you all for coming. Please forgive my janky voice. Hopefully, I will be all better soon. I appreciate you all from the bottom of my heart. I love you all, and I hope you feel better leaving than you did when you came in. Please like and subscribe. Share it with your friends so they can get some of this wonderful healing energy that we share tonight. I shall see you on Saturday. Have a wonderful rest of your week. I will talk to you later. And this is
all day, all night.